I was expecting.
It's like a countdown and do, 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 do. But no. So welcome to another Art and Soul podcast. I have been given the mantle of making sure that we don't blow things up today, and we only slightly nearly blew things up, and that's why we're 25 minutes late. But several explosions across all of Liverpool happened, and laptops died, and we're very sorry, and they'll be forever in our memory. None of them ended up out of a window though. They just all died of natural causes. But we're here and we're good to go. So I'm Ariel. Some of you know me as Lindy. Sorry, I've set her off already. Some of you know me as Lindy, but today I am going to be in my alter ego, which is Ariel Firecracker, from my cabaret, burlesque, and circusy life. With me, I have the gorgeous and my partner in crime, Little Peaches. And we have the gorgeous Natalia, who was also one of the performers from Disabilitease. We're going to have a little chat about disabilities. As some of you know, Art&Soul kind of prides itself on sort of fighting intolerance, inequality, bullying, hate crime, that type of thing. And Disabilitease and Little Peaches' passion is all about sort of equal opportunities for performers with disabilities and hidden illnesses, and fighting for a fairer, safer world for audiences and performers alike. So, Little Peaches, do you want to tell us a little bit about Disabilitease, why you started, that type of thing?
Yeah. Hi, I am Little Peaches from Australia, but more Liverpudlian these days. And yeah, I started Disabilitease came from an idea about 6 years ago when I started burlesque. I was diagnosed with a chronic illness, and my burlesque mama was diagnosed with a chronic illness, and we were both told that we were going to end up being wheelchair users. So we had this idea that we would create an act together. Ooh, hello, someone's calling. Did you not hear that? Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering where it came from.
It's such a traditional ring. Like, I just had to do this.
Where did that
anyway.
come from? Was that? I'm sorry. It's destiny calling.
The way I'm dressed, it sounds like it would come from here. Yeah, so the idea was to create an accessible show so that people that had walking aids can still perform in it, because most shows, their stages don't have ramps, or the venues don't have ramps, or there's no assistance when it comes to hearing and visual impairments, along with a whole host of other things when it comes to disability barriers. Oh, there we go again.
Destiny's still knocking or ringing in this case.
Yeah, so basically it was a dream, and I felt like it was a pipe dream for many years because I traveled around performing and rarely saw stages that were accessible. And then last year I decided I was going to do it. Said a bad word. So I was lucky to be offered a stage at the Liverpool Everyman Theatre, and they built us this beautiful stage that had like a ramp through the centre, and we had acts from all over the country with who all had disabilities, a lot of which were invisible. And so we had burlesque, comedy, music, spoken word, drag, sideshow. I think there was more. We had Falling Off the Stage Antics by Ariel Firecracker. I think that deserves a category all on its own. Like,
it's a skill.
The only person in the world that can fall so gracefully and make it an act. Yes. So Natalia was one of our acts. So she's a spoken word artist, which I think deserves a different title for you, because it's more like sensual spoken word artist with like
I do know
moody
you.
music and like I don't know what kind of like it's a category all on its own. But yeah, what did you think of the show?
Yeah, it was such a, it happened so quickly, but it was just in such a right time. And it came with so much love and support. And like you said, it's hard when they say spoken word is really like not including everything that happens in the show. And so let's say I do musical poetry. I don't know. Maybe that's a bit
That's
closer
great.
than yeah, something to do with is it? Yeah. Anyway, we'll figure it out at one point. But basically, what I've tried to do is create a bridge between people who are disabled and abled people for them to kind of start understanding what's going on, because through words, through storytelling, through poetry, I could share my experiences, but also including the music that kind of evolves into more of a touchy-feely kind of vibe when it's not just words, it's emotions through music. So when we would be working on the soundtrack for a specific poem, for example, we would include sounds like hospital sounds, bone sounds, muscle sounds, very kind of abstract. Bless you. And we would put them into the song. So whatever I would talk about, we could kind of, especially with the theme of being in a hospital, I feel like it's so important to make people understand a little bit more and knows that bridge the disabilities. Like the entrance of the stage was kind of a bridge to us to kind of connect us between the audience and the stage, and we could actually get in and out. We didn't have to crawl. We could just wheel in and wheel out, which was a weird experience.
Some of us
because I
rolled
grew
up
up
the
in the
stage, but
theatre.
not with wheels.
I know. I know. I've been on the stage in every month since 2014, and because of my disability, because of some of my symptoms worsening, I wasn't able to perform with them. And the last show I did, I think, was in 2016. And then I had a gap of not being able to perform because, I'm not able to do rehearsals. I'm not able to. So I kind of took that in my own way and went back on the stage, and that none of it would happen if not for Little Peaches. So that is me. Unfortunately, that sound was me, and I think it's my carers, and I hope they think I'm okay.
Oh,
They do that.
Well, this
You
is
can
very,
so accurate. Like,
yeah, very
it's like this is
fitting.
like the
Yeah, I've
reality of living
cancelled.
with a disability.
There you go.
yeah.
Exactly. And the problem is that I've had it cancelled for about a week now, but they still came. But yeah, welcome to our world of people coming in and just checking if you're okay. And sometimes you don't know them, and sometimes you get to know them. But yeah, I guess creating the whole show includes that understanding of disability. And again, all of it really happened because of Little Peaches. And we did have a comeback on me on the stage downstairs, but I went back to Everyman thanks to Peaches. So I think we're making the steps. Whoa!
It was a
I'm
pleasure
gonna
to
have to tell them that I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna have to tell them that I'm alive. So I'll
Yeah,
work
go
with you
for
in
it.
literally 2
Don't tell them
seconds.
that you're okay.
Yeah.
See, we do realise that Natalia would bring some drama. I love that.
Oh god.
I love how much drama that
Hilarious.
she can bring.
Yeah. To the stage and to
Just life.
yeah. Lovely drama.
Well, what is life without a little bit of drama?
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah. Makes that
I
bit
like how
fun.
the phone noise kind of changed at one point though. It became like a new noise.
Yeah. First it was like an old fashioned one. So I just felt like I needed to be like Marilyn and pick up the phone and go, no,
Hello.
not tonight.
I was gonna try and go a little bit Marilyn, like a ginger Marilyn, and then do my makeup, and then I got sidetracked with the arts and crafts projects, and so I just thought, no, you're gonna have to have au naturel me, unfortunately.
Oh, your hair does look Marilyn. Like that was the first thing I thought. Like,
I didn't get a chance to actually finish it though, sadly. So you're gonna have to have just
oh,
semi Marilyn.
can I see the front? And the front
Didn't quite get there.
Oh gosh. So they know you're alive then, Nat.
Yes, they do. It got to the point when you like when you don't answer, then you get the phones from the office, and then they buzz and buzz and buzz, and I was like, I'm sorry they
Which
didn't
is
tell
lovely.
you. I know, and I always feel bad because like we've got a life. It's not like we're gonna be at home every day at 6 o'clock just because, but just because we need care doesn't mean that we don't go out or we don't do something.
Yeah.
And sometimes when it comes to the care, a lot of people are like, well, but you need care, so you don't do anything else. And I guess that's where carers should know about the spoons.
Yes, they should. Which a lot do. Like we were gonna have Dossie May on this on this chat as well tonight, but unfortunately, tech issues meant she's not here. But we'll have her another time. But she's actually gone both sides of the coin. So she does care. She was a carer, but she has a disability as well. So her seeing from both sides of the coin meant that she did it in a different way. Like I've had carers, and
I was
like
a carer
you
in another place.
Yeah, that
I
doesn't
did care
surprise
in
me.
probably years. Yeah.
I think you've done everything. Like, what haven't you done?
True.
You're like,
I've never worked.
I just stopped asking that question.
You've never worked at a bar.
Worked in a bar. Yeah.
Ah, I've worked in a bar.
Yeah, most people have.
I'm really good at
that's the thing.
balancing the trade.
People pour me drinks. I don't pour people drinks. Thank you very much.
There you go. You're welcome.
She's definitely going to be pouring herself a drink tonight, though.
Yeah.
Once when I was working in like a hotel, and my dream was to actually make cocktails and be a bar lady. And then when I started using my chair, they were like, well, you can still help out at the back and stuff, but you're not allowed in a bar on the wheelchair. And I was like, but I want to make cocktails. Why can't I make cocktails? Because there's no space, everything's so. And I was wondering that one day when I'm very, very rich, I'm going to open a bar that disabled people and people who use mobility aids can actually learn to make cocktails.
But
I never want to do
that,
it,
like,
but it'd be great.
People can see over the bar. Like, if you go to a bar in a chair, you can't see over the bar. Yeah. Our venue in Liverpool, not the Everyman, but for my other show, The Secret Circus, they're working on putting a lower space in their bar, because we have
their
so
bar
many.
Is quite high, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. So, but what they do is people, when they arrive, they get like a ticket, and they'll get like table service. If you can't see over the bar, you get table service.
Yeah, that's
great.
amazing.
But it's things like
One thing
that like.
I'm sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just saying, it's things like that we want to implement into disabilities. Like, you've got to kind of, we spend a lot of time, like, don't we, Ariel, like sitting and thinking about the tiny little things that are actually barriers for people, that would, one, either stop them from going to the show, or to make going to the show not as comfortable an experience as it could be. So, the goal
one thing
is
that's come up so much, I think, in that people overlook it, is they will say that their venue is fully accessible or wheelchair accessible, but they'll forget that there's a step outside their building, because it's such an easy thing for them to just step over that step that they don't even register it. Or I found this in university as well, that in between one of the doors, and it's pretty mobile, but there is a lip, so I have to kind of open the door and hold onto the door frame and pull my wheelchair through it in order to get the momentum to get over the threshold. It's only small, but I've got enough in my upper body that I can do that. But if you're in like a non-self-propelled chair, or you do need a little bit more assistance. That's almost physically impossible, and it's something that people go, yeah, it's completely accessible, it's completely flat. Like, well, it's not completely flat. There's actually
that's what
such
I
a
had in
small
my
thing, it's such an impact.
Yeah.
That's what I had in my
Yeah.
house for a very long time. It didn't take them to lower it up or a little ramp. It took me to get stronger that I can go over, because there used to be time, even though we would forward everything to the agency, where they put the weight on the door. It's a very heavy old door, so if you open it, it closes itself, which then closes on me. And then the threshold was so big that I wasn't able to open the door and not even get over it. And for a good 3-4 months, when I wanted to go somewhere, I had to ring the neighbors to get me out the door, or ask the taxi drivers to get me out the door. It's small, like you say, that people don't think about it, but that's exactly the situation I was in until I had to get stronger, which is cool. But I had to go to the lengths when I had to really work on my upper body to be able to get out my own house. And it's accessible.
Yeah.
It's all one floor, isn't it? They say it's
It's
accessible. There's no
accessible.
stairs. There's no steps. There you go. Exactly.
My
So
building
that's
is
a very
accessible. But
Your
I've been
building's
here for
accessible.
2.5 years.
Honestly, you can magically fly upstairs. That's accessible.
Exactly. Like,
yes.
yeah. Yeah.
The
And I've been
wheels
here for
just go
2.5 years.
sideways.
Yeah.
I love
they
as
won't
well,
do
like
anything
your
to make it.
like the bins outside here. So like we have like sort of communal sort of bins, so for the the recycling and for the rubbish, but they're quite high. They'll probably come up to about here on me, but the ones at yours are even bigger than that, to the point where like even when I'm not in my chair, even when I'm stood and I'm taking your rubbish out, it's still like a stretch for me to actually get your rubbish just in. It's not a silly thing. It's a basic thing to be able to put your rubbish in a bin. And you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
that's
Like, and I
actually for
can't,
anyone who can't stand.
I've just ended up pouring my rubbish on myself. Like, not fun. But
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Like, I'm really lucky that, I have a really lovely neighbor, and he'll take my rubbish down, or I have, the amazing aerial firecracker who will come around to
And I
mine
do
and
it
take my
with
rubbish
style
down.
and flair.
Yeah.
You do.
Knock,
Yeah,
knock, milk
you
and
do.
wine.
Sexiest
No.
rubbish lady around.
She does deliver wine at the same time, though.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is like there are so many little things, aren't there? Like, so many little things. Also, I think people really need to get into the habit of knowing that accessibility isn't just mobility. Like, there's so many different elements to make a place accessible that isn't just wheelchair accessible. Like having a loop. So, I mean, Ariel, you would know, like, to have a loop so you can hear.
It makes a really big difference. So you'll spot and it, especially when you are kind of considering loops, or if you don't have a loop system, particularly things like restaurants, or actually any bar area, anything with clanking, particularly, is a really, really difficult noise with hearing aids. It is so unbelievably loud when someone, especially if you have an NHS hearing aid or you've had to buy one but you can only buy budget, there tends to not be noise cancelling, so it will amplify every single sound. You don't just get a conversational voice, you don't just get the range that you need, it just amplifies everything. Which means if someone sat next to you and they put a mug onto a glass top table, that is ridiculously painful. And so you'll see like someone with hearing aids in probably jolt quite quickly. Have I frozen?
Wow.
Oh no.
No.
So if you're in a restaurant scenario, and you can imagine if you're sat in the center of a restaurant, every direction you're sat in, you'll hear knife and fork on a ceramic plate. That is unbelievable. So you'll find that some people, I know of other people sort of in the hard of hearing community, want to go to, they want to sit with their back to a wall, so they're not getting all of the noise behind them as well. So they're only fighting with it on several fronts. The way it works for me with the specific range that I've lost, it's not like everything's just quieter, which is how hearing aids work. They just amplify the noise. It's usually that you miss certain like frequencies. And so for me, the specific frequency I miss is roughly the mid-range. So low sounds I can hear, high sounds I can hear. It's sort of the mid-range that I struggle with. Or sort of the higher and mid-range, sort of deepy stuff I tend to be okay with. So like a man's deep voice, I tend to be okay hearing. But if you're quite sort of highly pitched, I will probably miss some of that. And so it's kind of like having a jigsaw piece with loads of them missing. So you'll hear bits. And then what you'll do, and Natalia, you might be able to recognize this as well with English being your second language. You have to fill the gaps and translate it almost. And it's like, so sometimes I take a bit of a while responding because you're like, you can only hear bits of it and you have to kind of guess what the rest of the sentence was, which is why sometimes I'll answer you with a completely random thing. And you go, I'd love some toast. Like I said, I want a coffee. I'm like, okay, well, I'll have some toast as well. Thank you very much.
The amount of times it happens with a language and understanding people is just I can on that level kind of imagine what you get. That's a good
Is that
not a good example, but it's something.
Is that the kind of preferred term, hard of hearing?
It depends on. I know some people really struggle with the word deaf, and not a lot of people will identify as being deaf. I technically don't like to use it, but it's a very personal thing. I think, or hearing impaired. It really just.
That's what I use. But...
hearing impaired tends to be like the sort of the most acceptable sort of overarching term, but it's again it's for me, I do say for myself hard of hearing because it is hard, and I like to identify and recognize that it can cause physical pain through the back of my neck, sort of where my parts are. I have like pain in my ears. Did I freeze?
No.
No.
I keep freezing on my screen. And I think sometimes it's like I kind of take ownership in acknowledging when there's a difficulty with something, but for myself anyway, and that, it is hard, and yet this is a struggle. It doesn't mean it's going to stop me, but I do like to identify with actually, and you can, if you don't like it, that's your problem, not mine. But that's for me personally, and that's something I can come for my own ownership.
I wonder if with your singing, because you know how you can sing high and sing low, like you've got quite a high and low range. Maybe because you're hearing the higher and you're hearing the lower and not so much the middle, that's what you know.
It's really weird with my singing actually, because I did one today actually, and I sang a song that I have always considered too high for my range. And I was just like, I can't get this one, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's actually a song that I actually find really important and I want to do. And then afterwards, she's like, no, you got the notes. It's fine. I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, that's totally within your range. I was like, I can't actually tell if something suits me or not, or if I can hit the notes or not. I need someone to go, no, you were able to hit that note. So it's very odd.
Yeah. What I imagine is almost like if you imagine finding your highest note and the lowest note, finding the names of the notes that you struggle with, like the actual, like on the piano, that, I don't know, E flat, whatever. I don't know if there is, Does that make sense? And have that kind of middle range, like from here to A to, F, that's where maybe not. I don't know.
I actually struggle to actually just know which ones I struggle with. I don't know which ones I can't do.
No. Yeah.
That's really weird. It's a really weird thing to do. And then for me to be like, I completely fluffed that. I didn't get any of it. And to have someone who's been doing this for 3 decades to go, no, you got them notes. I was like, I don't understand what suits me, because I genuinely, because I can't hear myself talk, so I can't hear myself sing either. I don't,
That
unless
must
I've
be
got my
really
hearing aids in.
difficult.
Well, I never noticed any different until I put hearing aids for the first time. I was like, you can hear yourself speak? I was like,
You just, oh,
no one had ever told me that you
wow.
can hear yourself. Like, I'd never considered you could hear yourself talk. You can hear other people, but I didn't know that you could hear it yourself.
Yeah.
Which is
I
why
have
I think I'm loud, because I can hear it.
Yeah. I've got that with seeing when there's a light. I don't see a dot. I see loads of lines, and I didn't know that people see, because my eyesight is really bad. So I just thought that everyone sees the light as just loads of lines, especially in the dark. But it turns out it isn't. Even in my glasses, it does, like, that's something that they can't change. When I see a light, when I'm driving, even I see a light, just loads of little like lines around it, all blurry, instead of a dot. So I never knew that's a thing until recently. I think I was reading about it. So I didn't know that people can see like light. For me, light was just loads of spreaded lines of light. I thought
It's
that's how you
interesting,
see
isn't
light,
it?
but yeah,
It's like, and if you're
clearly
born
not.
with these things, you do think that's the norm. Like, I've always had chronic pain, and I didn't realize that. I just thought everybody felt awful, and I didn't understand. Like, when I saw people like jumping, it scared me, because I was like, how can you do that? Because that really hurt. And
I
it
still
wasn't
do
until
that. I still do that.
oh my god, when I see someone jump now, I'm like, like
Yeah.
it's just, jumping's the worst thing. But saying that, I was a high jumper at school, so yeah.
I couldn't
but
hide
you
them. My
just,
bum was too big.
I
was,
couldn't.
That's why I was a goalkeeper.
I just raced go-karts, so but yeah, I always just thought it was the norm that everybody was in pain, until you know, someone said, I had a conversation with someone, and I was just like, no, I can't feel, I thought everybody hurt when they touched their skin. I thought, it felt like needle pricks for everybody, but obviously it doesn't. And
I think this is what's really nice about the disabilities community. So one of the lovely things that you've created since the shows is the actual disabilities community, and to actually be able to talk and connect to people who actually completely it's your baby. I'm just there to kind of fan the flames.
No. It's ours.
It's that kind of
but it is
it's
a nice
that kind of,
community, isn't it?
yeah.
Like,
There's so
we've been
much
having
that,
those chats. We've been having these spoonies chats. So we all jump on some kind of video platform, be it Zoom or Facebook rooms, and all sit and have a conversation. And it's really nice, isn't it? Like, we've met some people from all over the world. Like, and we don't even have to talk about like our health conditions or anything like that, but just being in a space, knowing that everybody gets it, is really nice. Or knowing, if you say, oh, I'm really tired today, that doesn't mean like a regular person's I'm really tired. Sorry, regular person is probably not the correct term, but that's so for someone with a chronic illness, being tired is like, when someone else has stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning and they can't, and then they have to stay awake. That's how I'm tired today. But in that, sitting in that group of people. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say about just a funny. It's just that lag. I was gonna say about like, because you do this to me a lot, and you call me out on it in a good way. Because you just, especially when you're speaking to people who don't live with these conditions, and you say, they go, how are you? And you go, yeah, I'm okay. And you just, because it's just easier just to say, yeah, I'm okay. What you mean by that is, I'm not dead. And I'm not on the floor today.
Yeah.
But I know there's a few times where I've said, I'm okay. And you're like, how are you really? I'm like, I'm really feeling
Yeah.
flat.
Yeah.
That's something that I
read
was
it.
missing.
I can read
Yeah.
Something
both.
that I've been missing. And like with the family, trying to introduce the family into it.
Oh yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I'm really lucky
but I
with
think
my
it's getting
adopted family. There you go.
yeah. What the recent one that we've done actually, because sometimes, especially with the weather and like with my new symptoms, I get very low, but low in the meaning like I'm dizzy, I'm very hot. I can barely see, my legs are weak, my hands are weak. But when you say I've hit it down, it's not really like it just wasn't transparent to what was happening, and we're thinking of something that found out a term to do it. And I was very, very high on meds as always, and we've come up with I've lost my socks because I never wear socks.
I like
So
that.
now, yeah, so now every time I know that I'm going to hit it, and I'm just trying to warn them or let them know that I might have all these symptoms. It's like, oh guys, I've lost my socks.
Oh, that's really sweet.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
say
that
I'm
is
tingly.
nice. You say what?
I'm tingly.
You're tingly.
So for me,
Oh yeah,
I'm
some have
tingly.
tingly.
Yeah.
I get tingly skin. So if I know I'm about to have if I'm about to have a because I have like lucid seizures, so where I'm awake. So not everyone is aware that something. So sometimes I'll try and conceal it a little bit, but if I knew that it's on its way up, I'll literally just be like, I'm tingly, like my skin's tingly. And so for me, it feels like a very small electric shock that runs across my entire skin. And when that starts, it's like my nerves are hyper fired and they're really, really like intense. And so when I feel that, I know that things are going to take a turn. I need to basically stop whatever I'm doing, especially if I'm driving. Because I have lucid seizures, I'm allowed to drive still because I don't pass out. I'm like, I need to stop. Someone needs to take over, or I need to just get somewhere safe.
Yeah, I think especially with the symptoms of FND, as in functional neurological disorder, I think I know what you mean when you say tingly, because that's exactly how it feels. It runs through your body and it's so uncomfortable. And then I get my seizures look like a lot of spasms, one after another, different ones, and it doesn't feel muscular. It's all nerve based. It feels like everything's just pulsing inside you and hitting, and it feels like tingling. It goes down my neck and to my head. Yeah, and
Mine starts
are
base of my spine and goes up. It's like it starts at my lower back and like sort of around my pelvis, and it kind of like feels like it comes out like that.
Yeah, mine starts with the legs and then go up.
I'm unconscious, so I don't know how mine starts. I have an aura though, like I don't know it, but I say I don't feel so well.
You
and
do.
I
you
apparently
say,
like
I'm not okay.
Right.
Whenever you've done it around me, you've kind of gone, I'm not okay, and then you're gone.
Yes.
And then you kind of repeat it a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I need to get
sometimes you would just say my name. Yeah, sometimes you just say my name.
I used to,
and I know that that's when it hits.
Because coming out of it, you need to know that you're somewhere safe or with someone safe. And my mom used to like put my hand through her hair. She had really curly hair, and then I would know that I was with my mom. Like, and but it is odd, isn't it? If you know someone's there, it is. With my type of seizures, because I have complex partial seizures, you can start seizing like what you guys do, but you're not conscious. So you can be having a full conversation and your brain's misfiring. So you've got no recollection of it afterwards. But then I don't know how it feels because I know the aftermath because it's bloody painful.
Oh, God.
But I don't know what happens during because I'm out of it. So I always feel sorry for the people watching it because they have to deal with it
it's
more than I
alright.
do.
Yeah, it's in the nicest possible way. It's quite underwhelming
Yeah, that's what I always tell people.
because you're just kind of like you're like in a really adorable puppy, that's dreaming about something.
And
Like,
you just gotta hold it in place.
So you're actually quite cute. Like not to diminish the whole like how awful it is, but like like if anyone could look adorable whilst this was happening, it would have to be you. Like I was like, how did you do it? That's cute. Like I've got the sleeping bags and the falling off stage down to like a glamorous tee. Like that's my area of like weird like skills. But you've got the seizures down. Like, you know, the making seizures look you still look good.
Yeah.
What is our lives?
That should be an advert for something. Don't know what for. Just for you. Your own advert. You know when people say like you look with mascara, you look pretty even if you cried. I don't know. You look pretty even if you throw up. It's like, oh, you look pretty even you're out of it.
The glamorous epileptic.
I vomit gracefully.
You do vomit gracefully.
I can vomit so people didn't even know.
Yeah.
Excuse
it's like
me.
Just a polite little.
Like, excuse me.
Oh God.
Excuse me, ever so terribly. Could you pass the mouthwash?
Yeah.
I did
I
just want to lose my hearing aids on stage. Because I try to take them off when I'm performing because I'm not exactly a quiet and calm performer. But I forgot, and so I ended up like I don't know what I did, but at one point it just went, "Excuse me, stick that out." Like she stripped so much, even the hearing aids come off.
Oh that could totally be it.
Yeah, what about the other one?
Oh my God, that is the thing. That is a routine there, but you take it off and the music stops.
But maybe
so
I can leave my hat on.
Yeah. But if you take them off and the music stops or muffles, and it'll be like, this is what I'm hearing, and you can hear it too.
It wouldn't. It'd be like, it's actually, do you know what it sounds like without my hearing aids in? It sounds like bad, like Zoom with bad internet.
I mean, that's relatable.
That is what my hearing sounds like.
Yeah, I once failed. And there it is. I once failed on an art project about accessibility. Well, at the time it was my first year in college when I did acting, and we did like community theatre. And I was getting into more of like finding out about accessibilities and stuff because I was using my walking stick. I was having worse days. I wasn't fully diagnosed, but we knew that you know that I'm ill. And I was speaking to a lot of people that I knew, and then we went to put a presentation. So what I basically did, the presentation was running and I was saying things and I was standing and not moving consequently for about 6 minutes of the whole thing. Things go on the background, a few pictures come up, and there's absolutely nothing. And then at the end, I presented that like that's what it is like in uni, in work, outside for people with hearing problems. Because how could they be included? And I failed, even though I've proven the point. Yeah, because they said that I didn't do anything. A full concept was there, and they said that, oh yeah, but you didn't do enough. And I was like, that's the point, the context, the idea, you know, the why is the whole thing. But and then kind of my journey, I got very angry at uni, so everything I did was just.
I think a
But
true
I've proven
artist needs to fail at art school.
Yeah. I mean, I ended up with a nice grade, but
How
it
can
was
like
one of the
you determine what's right or wrong
yeah.
This is
when it
art,
comes
isn't
to
it?
art?
Art's subjective, no matter
Yeah,
which way you
Exactly.
look at it. No art is
Absolutely.
bad. It's just not for you.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
But it should be accessible for us all.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Well, this is the thing about
Definitely.
art. This is a whole thing in itself, and this is what you can really unpick it, is that art isn't accessible, and it's purposefully not accessible, and it never has been. Art has always been seen as, it's very elitist. To own art is seen as a luxury, and it's almost a social status. Like, look what I can get. She says quite a lot of locally bought art.
We buy a lot of art. Like
We do buy a lot of art, but
yeah.
we also buy a lot of erotic art.
Yeah.
I think
That's
things
all
are
I
definitely different now, but things are definitely different. And I do buy a lot of art. I am a terrible consumer of art and literature as well. I buy so much literature; it's unreal. I ain't gonna stop anytime soon.
No. And to be fair, all our art comes from like, local. It is like independent artists
Good
and
places. Yeah.
yeah, people that are doing it for themselves. So
I love
Yeah.
that quote. I think it comes from I think it's from America. And it's meant to be a sort of an anti-communist quote, and says, don't fraternize with artists because they mix with all sorts of people from all classes and backgrounds. It's like, yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
It's like meant to be a warning,
That's what
and
we
it's
are
just like, yeah,
about.
thank you.
I mean, the cabaret world is like, the cabaret world is definitely kind of good for that. For we are a wonderful bunch of weirdos. Like,
And how many beautiful bunch of weirdos I met because of you.
no.
Yeah.
I was saying in one of the, I was saying in one of the other groups before, like how much I missed the Fringe this year, because it's where I feel truly like I'm with family. Like, and you walk into Fringe and it's a city of your weirdos, and you're like,
Yours.
These are my weirdos, and you just walk through Fringe, and then you're like, you run across, and then you're just like, that's my weirdos. That's normal. It's strange.
Yeah.
Like, we started late, we ran over a bit, so we're gonna have to cut it short, I'm afraid. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Where do you want to signpost any places that you want people to go to? So Natalia, I'll come to you first. Where can people find you on social media if they want to come and check out some of your work?
Well, if you just go, see, I'm one of those Polish weirdos, and I even changed my surname to be spelled in English, but it's even worse, so I'm very sorry. But it's basically at Badowski, which is spelled BEODWSKI. Or you can probably find me on any tagged pictures with the girls.
Yeah, you'll definitely find people with disabilities.
Yeah. And then, definitely in the disabilities. And then from my account, you can go and check out my art that I do and my tattoo art that I do, because I work in, if I'm not mistaken, one of the only accessible tattoo studios in Liverpool. Fully accessible, not like some of the accessibility we talk about. So I think it is. So we try to create a space where even if you use a mobility aid, you can come and get a tattoo, and it's really nice. So we support disabled artists, and we also support people who want to get something nice. So you can find me there.
Awesome.
And thank you very much for having me. Yeah,
So,
felt
so it's
closer to
called
home.
no face, isn't it?
No face.
Yes, it's
What's the
no face tattoos.
No face tattoos.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Peaches,
Cool.
your
So,
social media handles?
yeah, if you want to find me, just at Little Peaches. You'll at Little Peaches Burlesque. You'll find me on Twitter. I'm at Little Peaches Kiss Kiss. Basically, if you put into Google Little Peaches Burlesque, you'll only find me. If you put in just Little
All
Peaches,
right.
you'll find children's wear, which is kind of weird.
Oh no.
But yeah, put burlesque at the end.
I think as well
yeah, if you wanna,
the disabilities page as well.
yeah, that's if you if you look up disabilities, the original, you'll find us. We're on Instagram as disabilities the original, or the original disabilities. We're on Facebook, and on Facebook, if you then if you have a disability and you want to join our community, we have a disabilities community. So that's where we have our Spoonies chats and we all talk to each other and help and support each other. So yeah, you can pop on to Facebook, look up disabilities community. You'll find us. You'll just have to answer like 2 questions, and then you can come and join our little community, our little family, big family. It's gonna be huge.
It will be huge.
Yeah,
It's been lovely to like connect
Thank
to everyone
you.
across the world, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Oh, guys, thank you so
Yeah.
much for helping me with takeover. I'm really sorry we couldn't get Dottie on as well. And next time we'll do this without the tech issues at the start, and we'll have our full hour. We'll have Dottie, and we'll be all singing or dancing and doing all the incredible things.
I mean, I don't know about the dancing.
Are you sure? I'm sure
Yeah.
I can
Oh,
inspire
that
you
was
to move.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
what I mean.
I worked out I can. Yeah.
Yeah. If
Thank
you're
you
very
so much for
interested in
having
seeing
us.
dancing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. So yeah, take care, everyone. Ben, we're good to go.
Bye.
Bye.